over in the rail corridors, you'll find that I've done a lot of graffiti, and this section is no exception to that rule. So this is in the Regional Express rail line that leads out to the town of Tumbleweed, to the town of Briar Valley, and out to the new town of Stillwater. So here I've just added a bunch of Pac-Man ghosts, so another classic video game shout out to the very classic and iconic ghosts of Pac-Man. And of course, I had to be a jerk and tag up this section with my own tag as well, Blip. So right next to the Pac-Man ghosts. Throughout all the rail corridors in the city of Newisle, you can find lots and lots of graffiti. Shout out to my cat Ellie, who likes to be needy and distract me at all times. Whether I'm working at my remote job or working on Newisle in my free time, she always likes to come and distract me and demand I pet her. So this is a cat statue. It's symbolic of my cat, Elspeth, which is a little shelter cat I adopted back in February of 2019. And the statue is right next to my City of Newisle home right over here. So you can find Ellie, the statue of Ellie, the cat, right next to Woodbine Beach and right next to my Newisle home over here. So Instagram, that's had kind of an effect on this world, hasn't it? Well, this is where you come to if you want to take a cool selfie in the world of Newisle. Gets you a nice backdrop of the skyline, and there's a little public square here where you can go fishing or grab yourself some fast food. So this is kind of the place to be if you want to pose for pictures in Newisle world. Reason I put this big Newisle sign here is that in my real world home city of Toronto, there's a big sign that has the word Toronto right in front of City Hall, where lots of people come to pose for pictures, and well, they would have if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, but you know, that's what you do in the real world, and when it's not plagued by the plague, or COVID as they call it nowadays. So come pose for a picture, come be cool, and post it to your grams. Here in this site, where this infinity symbol used to be, was where I had my Eterna Tower structure. So that was the very first high-rise that I built in Newisle back in 2010, and back then there was only a height limit of 64 blocks, so that was the absolute tallest thing I could build. Eventually, in version 1.3, I got rid of the Eterna Tower because by then it looked blocky and crappy, so I wanted to replace it with something else. And I figured downtown needs a few more public parks and public spaces, so instead of Eterna Tower, I replaced it with Eterna Park with this infinity symbol, because Newisle seems to just go on for infinity. It's a long, long project, and I figured, why not symbolize it with this big infinity symbol right here? I don't know why it's icing over. I'll have to deal with that once I release version 1.3 and finish it up. But for the time being, there's this mildly iced over statue here. 1, 2, 3. A simple statue to symbolize the meeting of the three highways here, Highway 1, 2, and 3, over here in the Junction neighborhood, which is next to Highfield, one of the original suburbs in the world of Newisle. So come check it out. It's just to symbolize the meeting point of these three highways and to get yourself a nice view of the downtown skyline. Alright, now I'm at Bluffer's Park Stadium, here at Stadium Station on the new S6 subway line. And I have a wolf here with me. I don't know how he got in here, but I'm guessing he's a fan of the baseball team that's here. So the Newisle baseball team is called the Newisle Sly Foxes. So the subway station that bears that name of the stadium here has a bunch of art that's based around the Sly Foxes baseball team. And nearby, we're in East Cliff now, which is the sketchy area that I introduced in one of my very first videos about Newisle version 1.3. So East Cliff has a bunch of logos and art and all sorts of stuff that adds to the ambiance around here. So to your right, you'll notice the liquor store over here, East Cliff Liquor, which is the biggest one in the entire world. You've got a big M for the abandoned motel over here. You've got the Hex Cherubs, which is the Outlaw motorcycle club that runs this area. They've got a big logo here. And then nearby, you'll find a little encampment called Camp Purgatory, which is a sanctuary for victims of rampant gentrification. So they like to spice up their little encampment over here with little bits of wall art around their tents and stuff. And finally, the last bit of art that I wanted to demonstrate in this video series is right by the Parliament building, a new addition in Newisle version 1.3. And this is a bit of a symbolic one. It felt very fitting to a Parliament building that's been added to a very, very long-running map with lots of history. And this piece of art is called Emerging from the Cobblestone, and built this in 2020. So it's just a little character here holding the Newisle flag. And for anybody wondering about the lore, this is the official Newisle flag. There's not much of a story behind it. The color combination just looked nice to me. A lot of people think it looks like Russia's or Serbia's flag, but that's just coincidental. The colors are not symbolic of anything. There's not much lore to it. I just liked the combination of red, blue, and gray on this one, and it felt fitting for a flag that represents how far this map has come and all the fantastic builds that have been added over all these years. So thanks for taking the time to explore Newisle with me and check out all the public art that this world has to offer. I promise this isn't a distraction. I am still working on the complete version of Newisle version 1.3. Development is wrapping up now, and I should have more content for you very soon to explore what the world has to offer now that I've made these various updates. I have one more town that I have left to make as part of my updates to make in the complete version of Newisle version 1.3. So check back very soon. I promise the map is wrapping up and there is an end in sight. You guys will get it very soon. Take care.